Hello, Aries. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aries. Obviously, I just said that. Well, welcome. We're going to look at the card over here. We have the Lovers, right? So beginning this reading with some really solid energy. And why do I say that? Because the Lovers is all about union. It's about fusing two things together. Often considered two opposites. If you think of the sun and the moon coming together, unifying and boring the star, right? And the star is our hopes and dreams. And so the Lovers, I think we can say, it's fair to say, right, that this could be about love with another person in the physical world. This could be about the many kinds of love that we have the potential to partake in, right? Family love, friends, our community, our acquaintances, our love for humanity, the love of our children. There's a lot. Agape, the love of God, or being in love with God, and God being in love with you, or goddess, or the divine, or whatever you like to call it. But on the other hand, this is a symbol of integration, successful integration. And what does that mean, right? So we have these different aspects of self. And some of them, we really like about ourselves. Some of them we might not like so much about ourselves. Some of them we might consider more feminine or masculine. We all contain the whole spectrum of archetypes and identities and so on. So coming into the work of individuation, finding it within self to begin to integrate all of those aspects of self, and especially the anima, the animus, and the I would say the main identifier, right? However you identify yourself. And so this is very solid. This is a feeling of somebody who is very in that human development mode, right? Self-evolution. So let's go ahead. I know we went really in on that card, but that's okay. I'm learning my way around them too. I'm not good with the card. I mean, I am to some degree, but if you watched me do a spread, you'd be like, okay, get back to the tea leaves, lady. All right, let's go ahead. Now, let's look at this really quick and notice that there's basically nothing on this side. So we are in a place in life where probably one or two major things are taking all of your attention. Life does not feel very balanced right now. I almost wonder if you have been in some kind of state of crisis or feeling a lot of anxiety, maybe even kind of stuck in like a feedback loop, or really fixated on something that's going on and you can't get over it, right? For me, when if I get in a fight with my husband, right, or even my daughter, if we're not getting along that day, I get into a spiral in my head about how can I fix this? What can I do? How can we they don't love me, they don't care about me, and that, I mean, I'm being exaggerating, but we have these moments where it's I can't get past this. I can't get past this feeling and go on with my day until we try to figure out some kind of resolution. And so I almost wonder if it's something not necessarily about your relationship, but definitely something happening where it's hard to focus on anything else. Now, I want to look at it from here. It looks like We have a person next to a tree that's not a very large tree. So maybe it's still in the process of building something. Maybe it's a business. Maybe, you know, you have moved into your forever home and, you know, you're just trying to figure out how to make this place feel, you know, like this is where you're going to spend the rest of your life and really be happy there. And you're having trouble kind of planting those roots deep, getting them to grow deeply. Feeling, I don't know, I'm under the impression, we have a bowl right here, and over here we have a person who has horns on their head. You can see, here's the head, here's the body, the legs, here are the horns, and I feel like it's like you sometimes are vacillating between just like wanting to be that Zen person that I know that you can be, Aries. You know, just kind of like letting things go. It is how it is. Whatever will happen, will happen. You know, I'm going to be here, do the work that I need to do, but I'm not going to get all invested and all wrapped up in. I'm just going to let things be as they are, right? And the other part is the bull, right? Where, if you can imagine, just like ready to charge, ready to get out there, do the dang thing, you know, get things organized in the way that you envision them to be from the bottom to the top, you know, really in there with your hands and everything. And I think sometimes it's hard for you to kind of stick with either way, and you kind of go between the two. And I think that at times this can end up being pretty consuming for you. It's like you could start the day off well and you have all the things ready to your plan. You have, you know, your itinerary ready. You know, the car is, you know, packed for errands and drop-offs and, you know, this and that. And something happens, right? You get in an argument. I don't know. I can't think of whatever else it is. You get a phone call from work, you know, whatever. And then all of a sudden you are just absolutely, you can't get past this. It feels like a blockage in your life, in your day, in your emotions. And you try to just kind of reason it out. You try to ignore it. You try to think, well, I can't really do anything about this right now. I'm just going to have to go on with my day and we'll deal with it when I can, or when, you know, the opportunity presents itself or whatever. And it's just, it ends up consuming your heart, mind, and psychic space for, you know, the foreseeable future. Well, I think that you're really trying to get away from this. And I think that you have been working really, really hard at allowing things to be messed up sometimes, right? Because the thing about Aries is that you're so good at so many things, and you have such an imagination and creativity. And I'm thinking, as I'm saying this, I'm thinking of like going on like Pinterest, or, you know, seeing something in a magazine or somebody's house that you love, and you have all these ideas. I'm going to, you know, decorate the house in this way. And if like one or two things is a little off, it's just going to drive you crazy, right? Even though you're really good at like thinking it up, getting all the stuff together, executing, making that thing beautiful. And then, you know, it's like there's always room for improvement. And even if it comes out better than expected, you're still going to find those little details that are just going to like make the whole thing feel like it wasn't a success for you. And I believe that you're coming to a clarity where you're realizing like this is like I'm sabotaging my own life. I'm constantly looking for things that are wrong. Like if you know what I mean? Like you're having a perfect day and all of a sudden you're thinking, I don't even know whatever it is it's gonna rain. We're having a party. It's gonna rain. Oh, now it's the end of the world, or even having a party thinking, oh no, what if it rains? And then you start stressing about it and there's no indication it's gonna rain, right? You just are finding things to worry about. And as I say that, let me just qualify myself as saying, I am on the spectrum and I have really bad social and general anxiety. So I'm not saying it like you're just worrying about it. It feels like a big deal when it's happening. And it's also something that we don't wish on ourselves, do we? Right? It's not like I choose to find problems in things. You don't choose to have anxiety about things. You don't choose to like have a bad day, right? It happens, it happens. And often the best we can do is decide how do we pull ourselves out of this, right? How do we stop that circle of thinking? What is going to work for me, right? And there are a lot of different methods. If you've been to the channel before, I do talk a lot about therapy and different modalities and techniques and so on. So whatever that is, if it's some kind of stimming, if it's like you need to sit down and write a list of things that make you happy, that make you feel confident and like, okay, like this part is bad, but listen, there's all this other stuff that I need to look at and realize like, no, I'm doing pretty dang good, right? And so, and there are a lot of other ways. So I would say if you are interested and if you want some new ideas, go look up some of the techniques used in DBT. It's dialectical behavioral therapy, or CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. And so, some of the things that they use widely, you can find all kinds of stuff on the internets about it. And maybe trying to implement some of this stuff, right? So let's go ahead. We're going to keep turning this. And I want to look. We have, it looks like a little deer. We also have, it looks like a heart. And we have a star. We have a person up here looking towards the star. So I do feel like ultimately there is a real sacredness to your reason for being here, right? Like your life's work has so much to do with the spiritual journey, maybe even magic. You might be a practitioner, but I do feel like you are somebody who, as you become more and more comfortable with your abilities, but also just your understanding of self and life and your place in the universe, I see you becoming somebody who guides others. Okay, so, some, like, maybe you do readings, maybe, you become some kind of healer, maybe even something like a spirit guide, doing some kind of shamanic work or path working, or some kind of fetish work. And that's not to be confused, right? Fetish is a kind of magic like voodoo or vandu or, these kinds of things. And so I do feel like ultimately you are clearing the brush away. You're out there with your machete, you know, clearing a new path for yourself. And I feel you getting more and more powerful as time goes on. Okay, so now we also have the spiral. We have the spiral. We have the number 161. I feel like you're going to be having dreams that are maybe mazes, maybe labyrinth, maybe kind of this descent kind of feeling. They might be troubled dreams, but ultimately I think you're working through something important. So don't avoid them, okay? I also see we have the illuminated candle. So there will be a spiritual download through this particular work. So definitely if you have like a pad of paper or a journal or use your phone or whatever, take notes about your dreams. When you wake up, write it down immediately. Even if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. This is why I think people should use like pads of paper, because the light on your phone wakes you up a lot. But if you just can scribble words like, oh, I smelled black pepper and I felt velvet, and you know, some blue person came and told me about, you know, the beginning of the world, you know, something. But we lose that information pretty quickly. So writing it down is a really important practice. Okay, 3 lucky numbers. We have number 72. Number 72, number 45, number 88. Wonderful. All right, now we'll just end with our self-care affirmation cards. I'll flip through, I'll stop where it feels right. And it says, sacred knife. Truth is my sacred knife. I cut away anything that is not in alignment with my values. As I sharpen truth, I become my highest ideal. I become my highest ideal. All right, Aries, I want to tell you I love you because I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope that you are well. I hope that you're staying away from the flus and the colds and the coughs and the stomachy problems and all of that. Wash your hands. Other than that, again, I'm just going to send you some love. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk in just a few days. I love you. I love you. I love you. And good night.